there, welcome back to my channel. We're going to have a chatty one today. We're going to be talking about money saving tips and things that we do in our house that saves us money. I used to do this type of video years ago. I used to do a motivational Monday, and these types of videos would be quite frequent, just sort of like home tips and all that kind of thing. And I know a few of you have mentioned that watch my videos from years back that you've missed them, so I'm not starting back at them, doing them again, but I will leave the link to the playlist down below. But this is a question that's been popping up this last year about affording to go to Disney World, and that's a whole different video in itself, and that is one that I'm going to film with Aid alongside this one. So I think I'm going to try and get that one up in a couple of days, so look out for that on our Disney channel, which I will link up down below. But it's two different things. We don't have expensive Disney trips. We found ways to really cut down the price, but saying that, we are very frugal at home, which enables us to be able to save for those trips. So I just thought I would share this video with you, and even if you're not obviously saving for a Disney trip, at the moment we're all trying to cut back and make savings where we can, because everything is becoming very pricey and everything is increasing. So I thought it would be fun to share with you how we save money in our house, where we're making cutbacks, where we've made cutbacks because we've made a lot, and hopefully it will help you. But also, we would love to hear from you. Where have you made cutbacks? Where are you saving money? Please leave your comments below, and then everyone can dive into the comments, and maybe mine might not help somebody, but yours could help somebody else, if that makes sense. It's like a sharing thing, isn't it? We'll all share together. Anyway, I've got 25, so I'm going to dive in. They're in no particular order, but I'm going to start with my favourite one. It's become a saying in this house. If you don't go to Disney, this won't mean anything to you. But we have a saying, and that is basically, so I went to book a hotel the other day. It was £30 more expensive than the one we already had booked, but was much nicer. £30 doesn't sound a huge amount when you're going to Disney, but then we said to each other, that's 3 quick serves. Quick serves are the like restaurant meals where you, or what do you call them? Like the takeout ones, you know, like going to McDonald's, where you go to the counter restaurant, that's what I mean. And so generally a meal is about £10, give or take a little bit, obviously depending on the exchange rate and all that, but we work it out that a counter service meal would be £10. So Aid said that's 3 quick serves. So whenever we are thinking in terms of saving money or things we can cut back on, we work that out in quick serve meals. I saved I think the car hire went down £80 the other day, and that was 8 quick serves, so we changed it. So it's amazing when you think that's 8 meals, that's just saved us. When you think of it like that, that's a really big saving. So have a little saying for yourself. Find a saying that you can relate to. Obviously a Disney quick serve meal might not mean anything to you, but if it's something like, if it's a magazine that you really like that's maybe £5, and you're saving yourself maybe £10 on something, think that's 2 magazines, if that makes sense. But find a little saying that you can relate to, because I've really noticed that's really made a difference to us. Another one is triggers. What are your triggers? What's your weakness that always wins you over? So for me at the moment, it's finding secondhand dresses and skirts from Kath Kitson on eBay, or Disney clothes. That's another one. I was so tempted recently to buy a rucksack, a Loungefly. It was reduced from 85 down to 40, and I was so tempted, and I didn't get it. But that story is going to come back a few times, I think, because it relates to a few different things. But try and revert away from your triggers. If it's the home aisle in Sainsbury's, try not to go down there if you're always tempted. I know that kind of thing tempts me. When we were shopping in Basingstoke the other day, it's all the little things that are like £4. I was in Tiger. It's all the cute stuff. I know I'm best to avoid Tiger when I don't want to spend, because it's not much money, but it pulls me in. So if you've got a trigger, the mug aisle, if it's cute hair accessories, try and steer clear of it if you're trying to have a low or no spend. You need to work out what your triggers are first. The next one, number 3, is to sleep on it. If you are trying to make a decision, the hotel, let's go back to the hotel again the other day, £30 more for a much nicer hotel. I was so tempted, and we went to bed and slept on it, and the next day I felt much clearer in my head. No, that's 3 quick serves we could save. But I think had I have just gone with it that night, I probably would have done it. So sleep on it and see how you feel in the next day. Sometimes even leave it a few days and see how you feel. Try not to make the hasty decisions is what I'm saying. Number 4, pound shops. We have noticed things like toothpaste, mouthwash, things like that becoming so expensive when we're doing our supermarket shops. I used to just throw it all in like my Morrison's order when I was shopping online, but I'm really noticing those increases now. However, when we're going to places like Poundland or Savers, places like Home Bargains, B&M, we don't have those close to us, but we do have Poundland and Savers. It's such a big difference. The toothpaste the other day was over £2 in Morrison's. The same toothpaste was 95p in Savers. So do shop around. Saying that, I wouldn't purposely go into town and make a trip just to do Poundland and Savers. This week, however, Aid needs to go to the opticians to pick up some contact lenses, so that's when we will tie in our other shops like Poundland and Savers. I will then pick up maybe 2 or 3 toothpastes to tie me over until next time we go in. But do shop around, because you can pick up things that are becoming very expensive in supermarkets in the pound type shops, and exactly the same items too. Number 5, collect miles and cut points and things like that. Really use your cards. I know a lot of people do well on Tesco's. Club cards you can also get in Tesco's. The club card prices, they're often a lot cheaper when you've got your card. We collect Nectar points as well. I've got that linked to my eBay account. So every year we can do our food shop, like get all the meats and things like that in Sainsbury's. We collect them over the year and then go and do that. We have a Virgin credit card. That's how we book our flights. Our flights cost about £500 each, and we travel in premium, and that's all through collecting miles, or points as they're now called. So have a look at your points. With Paper Chase, I used to get like £5 every now and then to spend. Body Shop, I would do the same, and it really does amount up. So see what cards you can get and remember to use them. It's very well signing up for these things, but it's remembering to use them as well. And that takes me on to cashback, number 6. I use Quidco. I know I've shouted about this a lot on my channel. I think I've made back in the years that I've been doing it about £2,000. It's just great, and it's not that I'm spending extra to get that. I'm going in and spending that money anyway. With my printing, I always get money back. The other day, I think I had £250 cash back. I was needing life insurance anyway. I wanted to have an extra life insurance. So I went through and got cash back on it. And after I'd paid it for 6 months, I got I think it was £250, 260 back. So do sign up to places like Quidco. I know there's other places. I do have a referral code down below, and I think once you've spent on it, or you've made like £5, we both then get an extra £5 back or something like that. But I'll leave my referral link below. Do remember to use it, because I use it all the time. And even though sometimes it's only little bits on Moonpig, when I'm sending my dad a birthday card to the States, it might be 6p, it all amounts up. My biggest tip, and this is what saves us so much money, is meal planning. I know for some people it's super boring. It saves time, it saves money, and it saves on waste. A lot of these things that I've got coming up will also be saving on waste as well. Big sort of topic lately, trying not to waste things, but it does save money. My meal planning, it might take me 10 minutes, 15 minutes, maybe a little bit longer. I go through my cupboards, my fridge, my freezer, see what I've got, and I meal plan accordingly. I make my shopping list up accordingly, and I go shopping. And that's what we eat each day. I do switch them around. I've done loads of videos about this. It really does save us some money. For the two of us, it generally costs about £25 a week. That's how much I spend on food. I'm excluding things like toilet rolls and things like that, but cleaning products and food, that's generally how much I spend. I am so careful. I make my own bread, I make my own treats, I make everything from scratch, and none of it takes me very long either. It's not like I spend hours. I work over 12 hours a day for myself, so I don't have loads of time, but I make everything from scratch and it saves us so much money. The other thing that I will go on from there, number 8, is batch cooking. It's something I've recently started doing, and again, something I've spoken about in a video. I'll leave the link to that down below as well. When I'm making up a chili or a curry, last night I made a white chicken chili, rather than just make up one lot in the slow cooker, I'm making up sometimes 2 or 3 meals. I'm making up double, triple the quantities. The slow cooker is going to be on the same amount of time anyway, whether I'm making for 1 meal, whether I'm making 3 or 4. And then I'm letting it cool, I'm flat packing it into large IKEA Ziploc bags, writing on what it is, and I'm flat packing it into my freezer. It's really not taking up much space at all, and I've got meals made. So not only am I saving on time, I'm saving on things like electricity, because my slow cooker's only going on the once, and then all it takes is a quick heat up when we eat it, and it's just working amazing for us. I don't know why I didn't do it years ago, but I really recommend looking into batch cooking. It really does save time and money and waste as well. Number 9 is to try and reuse things. I love reusing jars. I use them all the time. We use them as storage in the house. We use them as storage in drawers. We use them as storage, or like toothbrush holders, we use them for that. I just use them whenever I can. Use them as gifts to put in if I'm like make seasoned nuts or things like that. If I'm making my own chutneys, we always wash up and keep our jars. Oh, quick battery change. I also reuse the IKEA Ziploc bags. We take them on holiday with us just so we don't have any leakages, or if there is a leakage, it doesn't go in the suitcase. Always reuse those. When I freeze things, I wash them up afterwards. I do have some reusable ones that I use as well, but I haven't found any as large or flexible that I really like the IKEA ones. But I wash them all up and reuse them. I even reuse containers, like, you know, sometimes when you buy mushrooms or something, I wash those up and reuse those as storage, like in the fridge and things like that. And I try and reuse other things. I've reused kids' school shirts or jeans and used them on craft projects. They become fabric in my fabric box and get used. I used a tea towel the other day. I needed some fabric for a journal, so I reused it on that. Great for craft projects, reusing things. Number 10, have a think about what you have in your home that you maybe don't use or you don't actually need. Can you do without? The biggest example for us was our car. This was a massive saving. We got rid of our second car recently. It's been sat on the drive. I haven't been driving it. And even if I was, we are both working from home. We could make do now with one car. So have a think about if there's something that you've got or you're not using. Things like gym memberships. Are you actually using your gym membership? Any of your subscriptions, whether it be TV or that kind of thing, do you use them? Are you not using them as regular as you would like? Have a think about what you're paying for or what you have, and do you actually need it? Like I said, the car for us was a massive saving. That's insurance, road tax, obviously the upkeep of it as well. It was an older car. We have saved ourselves so much money by getting rid of one of our cars. Number 11 is buy secondhand. It's the greener thing to do, as we all know, and I really enjoy giving something a new lease of life. I didn't get into secondhand shopping until my kids were younger, and I started working for NCT sales, the nearly new sales, and I became hooked. And I love it now. I buy a lot of my clothing on eBay. I know a lot of people really like Vinted. You've got like places like Facebook Marketplace. It's such a great way to buy something so much cheaper, sometimes even free on Facebook Marketplace. I know, like our daughter picked up a garden furniture set for her student home that was completely free. So find places like that to either get yourself a bargain, it saves you money, and like I said, it's the greener thing to do as well. Number 12, have you considered switching to own brands? We've recently started doing this and it's saving us so much money. I would never have moved from Heinz salad cream or ketchup until a few months ago. And we found Morrison's salad cream and Lidl ketchup, they taste no difference. We did something really bad at Christmas. Our son is very particular with what he eats. He would never eat anything other than Heinz ketchup. And this Lidl, honestly, it's no different. I actually washed out the Heinz ketchup bottle when it ran out and squeezed the Lidl ketchup into it. He was home from uni all over Christmas. He didn't notice. So think about it. Biscuits now, cream crackers, so many things now. We are just buying the own brands. And like the ketchup, I think the ketchup the other day was $2.50 for Heinz, or 59p, I think it was, something like that for Lidl ketchup. It's such a huge difference, it really is. And when they're things that you buy regular as well, you'll really notice the difference. The other thing is switching supermarkets. Where are you shopping? We are finding that shopping in Lidl is saving us so much money. I was shopping in Morrison's for quite some time. I was having my shop about every 10 days come to the house, and then prices started really increasing. Things like my flour is 89p, my strong bread flour 89p in Lidl. It had gone up to £2.29 in Morrison's. I can make 4 loaves out of that. That's a huge saving. And like I said, buying the own brands, the fruit and veg, pasta, rice, we are saving ourselves a small fortune from going to Lidl. I know obviously Aldi is the other option as well, but have a look and see what you can cut back on, and have a look at prices. Maybe if you haven't gone to places like Lidl or Aldi, have a little look and see what you think to the price differences. 13. This could also fit into the trigger option that I said about, and that's maybe unsubscribing from some newsletters, from some email sign-ups. Do they tempt you? For me, it's very Nico. It is the Disney emails I'm getting through. I get too tempted by sales, and I think I'm going to have to unsubscribe from that one for the time being. But have a little think about it. If there's anything that sometimes tempts you, maybe unsubscribe from it for a while. Because sometimes as well, if you're really tired at the end of the day or something, or you've had a bit of a crappy day and you get an email with a special offer through, sometimes it can feel very, very tempting. That can also be when you sleep on it as well. And that reminds me, I nearly booked a holiday to Marrakesh the other day. I had a TUI email came through. I was really behind with work. I still opened the email. I clicked on it. I was so tempted. It was 300 and something pounds each for 3 nights. It sounds so cheap. I didn't need to do it, and I was so close, but I didn't. So maybe I need to unsubscribe from TUI as well. My number 15 is, this is something we've been doing for a long, long time. When you don't spend your money, move it into a savings. We used to physically do this with cash. Now we have savings accounts. So when we were in Basingstoke the other day, I was nearly tempted by so many things that were £4. I nearly bought cute little hair clips that I thought I could use in my journal. They were £4. There was some other things in Tiger, and then we went into this super cute Japanese store. It had so much Disney in. So many times I was nearly convinced to buy something, and instead I came home and moved £30 that I didn't spend into my Florida savings account. Sometimes when we're really tempted by a takeaway, we know these days if we get a kebab it will be £12, and then if we don't do it, we'll move the £12 into our Florida savings. If we don't go for a coffee, that's about £6, but we might sort of say, oh, shall we? Then we move the £6 into savings. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it amounts up, and it's a really good way to not only stop yourself from spending that money, but actually having it in a savings as well, so you see it mount up. Number 16 is to sell things. That's something that we've been doing a lot more of. I did it years ago. I always say this, I nearly funded our 2012 trip on eBay. I just went hard in the house and sold everything. I was so desperate to go away. We've been selling things again. Aid had a brand new remote control car that he bought a couple of years ago. It was still in the box. It had never been taken out. He sold it on my Facebook Marketplace the other day. He wanted to upgrade his GoPro a couple of years ago and sold the old one as well. We've been getting back into that. I'd like to get onto Vinted and start selling some older clothes and things that we've got as well. But selling things is a good way to make a little bit of extra cash. And it helps with the decluttering as well. Right, number 16 is to use discounts, apps, things like that, where you get sometimes freebies, sometimes discounts. My biggest one recently is using free prints. I print all my own photos at home, and I use the selfie printer, but the paper and the ink is quite pricey, and I don't know why I didn't do it years ago. I'm using free prints. You get 45 free prints a month. One of my lovely ladies reminded us in our group yesterday that it was the end of the month, and I didn't have time to do all of them, but I did 20, and then you just pay the postage. It cost me £1.99 in postage. If you are a journaler or a scrapbooker like me, I use the apps still, the selfie app, so I get my 5 photos onto the one print. I will show you. So let's not show the one of my mum in a swimming costume. We have them like that. So I can still use them on my journaling pages. I use the selfie app, I save it, and then I load it to the free prints shop, the online shop. And then I get my photos sent through. I did 45 last month, and that was £3.99 in postage. It's saving me so much money. The other thing is sometimes sign up to things, and on your first order you might get a discount, or you might get a certain amount free. So have a little look at what there is out there that could save you money. I also noticed actually that the other day I was looking at a hotel on hotels.com, and I noticed that it was actually cheaper by me using the app. Usually I just do it at the desk when I'm at my computer. I would just book a hotel or something else. I wouldn't pick up my phone and use it, but I think I must have been out the room, and I noticed that the same hotel was cheaper by using the app. So have a little look. Number 18, this is something that saves us a lot of money as well. Instead of having gifts from family that we don't need, we have a big agreement in the family that if you want money, you can have money. If you want gift cards, you can have gift cards. So we tend to ask for that. We've done that for many years now, and that's our spending money when we go to Florida, or at least it goes towards it. Birthdays, Christmas, even things like we don't even have chocolate at Easter from family. They might give us £20 as a family instead, and that's always been our family treats. We've had times where we've all been sat in celebration in Florida with a smoothie or an ice cream or something, and we will send like a photo to Aid's mum and dad and say thank you, this was our Easter treat from you. We've done that many times, and it really helps us out. We've got Disney gift cards to take with us to Florida this time as Christmas gifts. We've done it for years now, and it really, really helps out, especially when you've got kids as well. If you give them dollars, or you've got family that can give them dollars, and then they've got their own spending money out there, it stops them from pestering you because they've got their own money and they have to work out whether or not they want to spend that money, and you're then not having to fund their souvenirs and things. So it's something that we've always done ever since our first trip in 2007, and we will still continue to do that now. Or the other thing is, if you're not wanting the money, but have a think about things that you really want. If there's a birthday coming up, and actually ask family members for that particular thing, rather than just having things for the sake of having them. Number 19 is a bit of DIY. What can you do yourself to save your money? I've said I don't want to buy any more Disney ears. I've got a few here. I think some are ready to go upstairs to pack. They're uncomfortable. They're $30 each. So I've now started buying Primark ones for £3, adding my own bows, and it's costing me so much less, and they're so much more more comfortable, not uncomfortable. Doing all my own baking, for example. Sometimes though that can work out more pricey. I made Louis' 21st birthday cake the other day, and that was a very pricey one. Any DIY jobs you can do around the house that you maybe would have asked. Also things like use YouTube. Aid has Although we had to recently buy our washing machine, it was 15 years old. Aid managed to fix it twice before by just YouTubing what the problem was and realizing it was a small part that he could go and buy for a few pounds and replace it. This time we couldn't, but he's done that on a few things now where he's been able to YouTube something and actually find out what the problem is and fix it himself, and we haven't had to buy a great big new appliance. So have a little look and a think. If there's something you can do yourself, try and do it just to save yourself a bit of money. Use YouTube as well to see if you can find the problem and fix something. Number 20 are using cheaper brands for beauty items. I used to always buy my mascara, which was £30. I was buying it for years until, I don't know why, I bought Primark for £3.50. Maybe I'd seen a review on it online, and I've never used anything else since. I've also been using, I also used to use really pricey NARS lip gloss that was £20 something, and I, for a few years now, have been buying one from Wilko for £2. They've stopped doing it though, and I love it, so I need to find a replacement. My blusher, again, I was using a NARS. I think that was about £30. I now spend £1 on Primark blush, and it's no different. So if there's any beauty things, some things you can't cut back on. I do use expensive face cream. I use a Kiehl's, but it lasts me so long, and my skin, I've got very dry skin. It just suits it so well. I used to use Boots, which was about a third of the cost, maybe even less than that actually. And I was buying it a lot more regular because I was needing more of it, but my skin was still feeling quite tight with it. So there's certain things that are more difficult to cut back on. But if you can cut back on some items, do that, because especially with the higher priced things, you can save yourself a lot of money. Number 21, ask yourself the question, I do this all the time, do I need it? That was my question when I wanted the Snow White Loungefly bag that was reduced from £85 to £40. I loved it so much. I still think about it now. But do I need it? I've got 3 Loungefly. I've got Primark rucksacks. Yes, it would have looked so cute. I planned a whole outfit around it. But did I need it? No, I didn't. And money's tighter. We've got another trip coming up. As lovely as it would have been, I don't need it. And I do that so often now. When I'm in Primark especially, and I see something, if I think yes I can use it. I bought a new rucksack recently, but I want it a slightly larger one to be able to take coats and things if it gets chilly, because we were caught out last year. That, okay, yeah, I've got a good purpose for it. But sometimes if it's just another cute t-shirt that you don't really need, do you really need it? Ask yourself that question. Number 22, look after what you have. This is one of my favorites. I am still using an iPhone 7, but I bought it outright, and my phone for my SIM, whatever you call it, I don't know, my monthly cost is £16 a month. Actually, it might even be £14 a month actually. That's all I spend on my phone. Also clothing. I was filming a video the other day going through a 2007 scrapbook. I was wearing a cardigan that I still wear now. A green monsoon cardigan. So many of my Disney outfits I was wearing, even 2007 trip, our 2012 trip, 2010 trip. I've got photos of me wearing dresses, skirts, and I still wear them on trips now. Look after what you've had, because it will save you money. That also means having good cases. If you've got an iPad, if you've got a phone, buy a decent case for it. I've always had, or we've always had, the strongest OtterBoxes for our cases. They may not be the most attractive, but they look after what you've got. If you drop it, it's not going to break. And also things like, try not to misplace things. I know my sister is so bad at losing things. It's a standard joke in the family. We have places for things. I did a hallway declutter the other day. Keys, they always go in the tray. We have places for things in the house. In the evening, the remote controls always go back on the same spot. Just try and look after what you've had, so you're not having to replace things maybe quite so often, and that will also save you a decent amount of money. Number 23, I've called this one break and replace. When something breaks, question yourself if you need to replace it, and maybe even hold off replacing it to see if you start to miss it. Our biggest one was the dishwasher. It broke maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and we haven't replaced it. We're not missing it. It's the gaps there where the dishwasher's there, it's just not, it doesn't drain. We haven't bothered trying to fix it because we haven't missed it. We're not using the electricity. We're just washing up little bits as we go along. And we've saved ourselves money on not replacing it, and we've saved ourselves money on the electricity and the water by not using it as well. Another one was my steam mop the other day. They tend to break every couple of years. And then I questioned myself, do I need to replace it? That's plastic that's possibly just going to end up in the bin again in a couple of years. I've been getting on my hands and knees every other day and cleaning the floors instead. So I save myself money there. So when something breaks next time, question yourself if you need to replace it straight away. Leave it a little while and see how you go. You may find out that you don't actually need to replace it. Number 24 is to shop around for fixed rates and also things like insurances. For example, we were so fortunate, Aid deals with all this kind of thing. With our electricity and gas, it's on a fixed rate. So fortunately, the rise in things hasn't affected us. Could actually be another story when it comes to the end of the year and things change for us. But at the moment, we've thankfully, touch wood, been absolutely fine. We've always gone for fixed rates on things. And shop around for insurances. We noticed that every year Poppy's pet insurance was going higher and higher as she was getting older. Aid's always shopped around to the point now where she has got the most basic pet insurance. She's turning 15 soon, so what's the point in having her insured for things that she's not going to need, if you know what I mean? She's not a young dog anymore. She was being insured for things that we didn't actually need. So she's got now the most basic of pet insurance, and that, I think it was like, it had gone up to even more than our insurances. It was like doubling each year. So have a look when your insurance does go up. Contact the insurer that you already have. We do this with car insurance, and sometimes then they will match it again or bring it back down to what it was. But do shop around, and also as well, when you're shopping around for insurances, use the cashback again, like I said before, and see if you can go through cashback sites and places like that as well to make a little bit of extra back. Number 25, our last one, use what you need and try not to waste. My thought of this one is always the hand soap with Aid. Aid is a stickler for washing his hands. I watch him and he pumps the hand soap 3 times, washes his hands, does another 3 times and washes his hands. I only picked up on this was a few years ago when I had a brand new Bath & Body Works soap by the sink, and I realised that half of it had gone in a week. And I realised that was him keep washing his hands, and like I said, so that's 6 pumps he's using to wash his hands once. So he now has a cheaper brand. I know that sounds awful, but it's a lot of money. So he now has a cheaper brand to use for his hand soaps. Kids and toilet paper. Does yours use loads as well? Louis used to block the toilet with all the toilet paper he used as a kid. Try and just use what you need. The other thing is leftovers as well. I've noticed that either 2 things were happening. I was eating the leftovers for the sake of eating them after dinner, or I would just eat them for the sake of eating them the next day, partway through the morning. Wasn't breakfast, wasn't lunch, it was just an extra. I've now started freezing those portions, even if it's 1 portion. The other day, Aid was out, and I had, I think he was out with one of the kids. I had 1 portion of curry, so that was my dinner that evening. I didn't need to make a meal for myself. I was using it up. So that was really handy. So try not to waste things and just use what you need. Great on waste and great on saving you money. That's my 25 different money saving tips that we use in our house that saves us money, keeps our budgets down. I hope they help you. Let me know if any of them have given you some ideas. Are there any that you don't use? And I'd love to hear from you and hear yours too. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.